Or it had never landed in my brain. Maybe I heard it on MTV when I was like
Very
8.
weird.
And then I never heard it again.
Santa Cruz truly is a black hole. What's up, folks? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Off the Record. You love Off the Record. How do I know you love Off the Record? Because y'all keep telling me. That's how I know. You guys email me all the time talking about Off the Record. Saved your little backsides over there when you're out being naughty boys and girls on the highway. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about not pleading guilty if you get a ticket of any kind. Any moving violation, you guys know what to do. offtherecord.com/TST or code TSTPOD on that Off the Record app. They will assign an attorney to fight that ticket for you wherever you are in the country. And if they can't get those points off your record, you don't pay. It's that easy. Only suckers plead guilty. Go to Off the Record and just get it handled. All right. On this episode of the program, I have a little bit of a plumbing incident at my house. The Bentley has yet another issue that might force me into a modern daily driver. I went to the most curated, most Los Angeles cars and coffee of all time. I unboxed my brand new guitar. Plus, we're checking out how Z06 prices have come down and what is a better used supercar bargain, a newish NSX or a McLaren 570. It's a crew show on today's episode of The Smoking Tire. Hello. It's a good day. It's a good day. Although, hi everybody. How you doing?
Welcome back.
From España.
From España.
Fucking.
Land of Jamón.
I think I'd like to retire in Marbella. That seems all right.
Is that where you guys were staying?
Yeah. It's basically Santa Barbara with more jamón.
I've heard that's what Thad said a lot. It's like the terrain and weather is a lot like California, but it's less expensive.
It was all right. And a lot less expensive and like really nice architecture, really great roads, really great food. The Ascari circuit, although I can't talk about the 911 hybrid until July 9th. We'll talk about that on the next show. The Ascari circuit itself is quite a treat. Yeah. It's a real fucking delight. Real country club level.
Like,
yep.
Just look at that. Just that turn by itself.
That is goddamn exceptional. I did drive that section of the track, as a matter of fact. A couple different, really distinct sections. A couple parts of it are really, really fast, and then some parts of it are very tight and technical with lots of banking. Really fucking neat.
Nice.
And just really like Spain, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, aside from the car itself, 911 hybrid, which again can't talk about just yet, but even though it was like 18 hours to get there. And I was only on the ground for like 36 hours and then 18 hours back. As I was driving down the road, I was like, I did like, I don't know, probably 300 kilometers on the street. So probably like 170, 180 miles on the street, plus a bunch of track time. They gave us a bunch of track time,
nice.
Which was really nice. Like really high quality organization from Porsche on this one. They really wanted people to have a lot of seat time. And there were two cars. There was new Carrera and the hybrid.
Oh, cool.
But I only focused on the hybrid. I did have a go in the Carrera. But as I was just driving across, southern Spain, I was like, this is the fucking jam. Just like the weather was great.
Mm-hmm. Their highways are so smooth.
The highways are great. The back roads were great. I didn't share a car. And I don't mind sharing a car as long as it's with somebody cool.
Yeah,
it's like,
of course.
And the people who were on this launch was like the fucking super who's who. Harris was there, Catchpole was there, Rory Reid was there, both Savage Geese boys were there, Matt Watson was there, and then there was a couple other like writers and stuff, but like nobody who sucks. It was all like good folks, which was really nice. But just when I'm not sharing a car, I'm not like, even with someone I like, there's like that pressure to just be making small talk the whole time.
Yeah.
Whereas like I'm just fucking, and on the road drives, I was in a convertible. This is not going to cheat because I'm not gonna reveal what a convertible is. But I'm top down, fucking sunscreened up, 75 and perfect, driving across rural southern Spain in a convertible, and I'm going, this is the goddamn life.
Yeah.
That was all right. I even say, I think in the video, I'm like, this is one of those days where it's real nice to be me. I mean, it's a long way to go for not much time on the ground, and it was like very, very tiring. I was pretty fucked when I got home, but like that drive across the mountain in this fucking convertible by myself, just fucking having a nice old time and taking it all in. God, it was great.
That's why we wanted the job.
Yeah.
Like, that's how the Aston launch was. I was like, this is why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the video is pretty thorough. The video's got a road drive segment in that convertible. There's then a track drive segment in a coupe. So the video it covers a lot of ground. So hopefully it's not too much for Zach to edit, but it'll be pretty comprehensive.
Cool.
I think. And I encourage everybody to go watch it on July 9th when it comes out. It's like an afternoon embargo. It's one of those things. It's like same thing, July 10th at midnight Germany time. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be like, I guess that's like 3 p.m. our time.
Something like that.
Yeah. I think I looked it up and it was 3 p.m.
Okay. That's not terrible.
No, it's not that bad. It's not like some of those are fucked up.
People can watch it when they're starting to check out from work.
Right.
They're done. They don't care anymore. They're not really
Last
thinking.
thing you do before you leave the office.
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling. Yeah. But man, I do love Spain. I think Italy's still my favorite country, but Spain is fucking catching up. Real nice. Just they know how to fucking do it over there.
It's I don't know. It's one of my favorite countries to drive in, for sure. I haven't spent enough time there. Like, I don't think it'll ever supersede Italy because the food in Italy is the best.
What would it have to do to pass Italy? I mean, fuck, you can't pass Italy.
You have to give free houses, to everybody. But Spain is very nice.
Which they're doing in Italy right now, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can buy a house for like $3 in Italy right now.
And then spend $1 million refurbing it.
Yeah, you have to refurbish it. But you can technically buy a house for basically nothing.
That's a good point.
You would probably do that in Spain, too.
Yeah, Spain is cheaper.
I follow Your Cheap Dream Home Instagram, which is just a fucking tease. So much of a tease. I'm like, wait, I could move to fucking Tuscany for 46 grand right now.
Right. I mean, you'll be out in the middle of nowhere, but
it'll cost you more to fly there.
But, for 3 months of the year, wouldn't be bad.
It'd be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, came home to some problems.
Speaking of house refurbishments.
Right. No. Yeah.
Is it a house problem or
there was a house. Like the fucking second my flight took off, a drain clogged in our house, and we have these like our kitchen sink. Mm-hmm. Is the kitchen sink, and then like 12 feet away is the laundry room sink. So the plumbing for those two sinks is daisy chained.
Makes sense. Right.
Right. As it goes down into the floor, and it's just like runs under there and then out. And something got backed up, and that fucking when Hannah turned on the disposal in the sink, it fucking made the laundry room sink turn into like a pool of like
gray,
just gross,
green,
just ground up. It was not great. So there was that. That was fun, and then I think I talked about the fourth window regulator on the Bentley.
Yeah,
stopped working.
Yeah.
Mechanically, driving, running, this car is like perfect. It's just everything works great. But these little bullshits kind of drive you nuts. Yeah. And they don't ever stop you from driving the car. Like, I
never left me stranded.
While I was gone, the front passenger seat, seatbelt tensioner seems to have like given up.
Oh, so the belt's just loose.
The belt's like loose, right? And if you just like leave it loose and walk away for an hour, it will slowly retension.
I wonder if they redesigned seatbelt tensioners somewhere in the 90s. Do you remember, as a kid, I remember so many cars having seatbelts that were super stretched out and wouldn't retract, and someone's like, you got to feed it. There was like a trick to everyone's car, and then it just solved itself.
And then the springs, like, yeah, they definitely have made them better.
I mean, because we've driven plenty of 25-year-old cars that don't have that issue.
Right.
But there's like a 29-year-old and older problem.
And I don't know if this is a thing where this car, where I don't want to have to go back to fucking Charlie. I mean, I love Charlie. He's great. He knows how to fix a fucking Bentley. But this doesn't seem like a problem that's unique to Bentley, and I need to pay $200 an hour labor rates to fix.
You go to that shop over here that did my AC, no, Sarah's AC.
Yeah.
Like around the corner.
Yeah, they could probably fix this. Except, could they fix it without, like, wrecking the interior? That's the problem.
It's a fun game to play.
Right? Like, you should see the receipt I have for the window repair. Because Hannah took it to get fixed while I was gone. And it's like, part, $42. Labor, $535. And all he had to, all that is like, take the door panel off, fix the part, put the door panel back on. But this door panel, it's all like perfect wood, perfect leather, and like someone who doesn't know what they're doing and or gives just fewer fucks could like cause actual damage to this door. Right.
And what is your like B pillar trimmed in? Is it
like
leather?
Chrome and leather.
Chrome and leather.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just have to be very careful.
Yeah.
They have to know where all the pins are.
Yeah.
Or the pop rivets.
Yeah. And like, you don't want to put this car back together and all of a sudden it rattles.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, the car doesn't rattle, and so that's a thing. But both, this seatbelt thing happened, and so we went over to Vinny's to make pizzas on the roof, which was great. And Christian came with us, and so nobody wants to sit in the fucking seat with no seatbelts. So we're driving over there, and I'm driving, and I'm fucking driving Miss Daisy with Hannah and Christian in the back.
Daisy's in the back.
And I'm going, when does the novelty of this wear off? Like,
you're already there? Wow.
No, I just like, I like driving it. I really do like driving it, and I like being seen in it, and I like the idea of it. But also, like, so much of my life is just bullshit errands that, like, having a car that I never have to think about is so nice.
True. Well, aren't you? Oh, well, you canceled your Macan order.
I haven't officially canceled it.
Haven't
officially canceled it.
Okay. So, like, you have a normal car coming. It's just that you're tiring of this one quick. Yeah, I know. Mach-E.
Someone, I mean, there are options. Like, I could fucking go if we wanted to. I could go up the road to tomorrow and have a Mach-E or what the fuck, or whatever. But like, I don't want to like give up on this game that I made up for myself. But I also,
you needed more things to do. I mean, you didn't know these were going to go wrong. That sucks.
I mean, I could have guessed, but
you're optimistic.
It's
sometimes.
like. Yeah, it's stuff that doesn't seem like it should be going that wrong. But this is what it is. And I suppose we have to make a video about updating how this is going.
True.
Along with a stack of receipts. But it is like, especially for these drives where it's like, they're short, they're just light to light. They're in and out of the car, in and out of this, in and out of this. I feel like that's like kind of hard on the car. I feel like taking a lot of really short drives is hard on the car.
I think if the oil never warms up, then If you're essentially doing 5 cold starts to run errands.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on how long the first errand is, how far away it is.
Usually the oil warms up enough, but like, once you have an electric car for running errands, going back to a gas car for stuff, it really feels like you're like straining the car.
Yeah, I understand completely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even like driving, like Sarah's car is the hybrid, but turning it on doesn't turn on. And I feel, I mean, it also feels invincible to Toyota, but there's a different thing. Even when we've had press cars that are new gas cars, not comparing to my car, it does feel like it's harsher and there's more vibration. You're like, ooh, is this okay to just drive 3 minutes?
Feels invincible.
Yeah.
Especially when you're just doing running around bullshit stuff. Then it really feels invincible.
You know what it feels like?
When it's really hot out or whatever. Folks, got to take one quick break because today we are supported by Factor. Listen, warmer, sunnier days are calling, and fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Whether it's time to meet your wellness goals for summer or just save time, save money, and eating right with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto, you know Factor. Their fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. So what are you waiting for? There's 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, so you'll always have new flavors to explore. You can make your whole day delicious from breakfast to dessert, and every meal has easy, nutritious options. Plus, keep your kitchen time to a minimum because Factor meals are ready in just 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleanup. Head over to factormeals.com/tire50 and use code TIRE50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code TIRE50 at factormeals.com/tire50 to get 50% off your first box and then 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. And thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's episode.
You know what it feels
really
like?
Hot out or whatever.
Like golf carts, once they change to electric from the gas things, like you just because all you're doing, you're driving to the hole, you're driving from the tee to the next thing and the next thing, and it's just like, oh, this is made for this.
Yeah.
Super short trip, run in, get ball, hit ball. It's kind of that. It's the big version of that.
Yeah, there's no such thing as beating the shit out of an electric car. Doesn't exist.
Well, it just always feels so smooth, even if you're heat cycling the batteries really aggressively.
Yeah.
There's no noise with it. And so unless you get an alert on the screen that says, hey, you're beating the shit out of this car, you just go, wow, this thing can take this all day.
Exactly. But I definitely miss having an electric car. For daily bullshit, I really miss having an electric car.
I saw a red Prius, a new Prius in traffic the other day, and it's a nice deep red. It's the same one Bozy has.
Yeah.
But it's a lot like Mazda's red, and I was just like thirsty for it. Like, man... Should I
give
maybe
me this efficiency.
Just give me
I was at a Cars and Coffee on Sunday, and it was like peak Cars and Coffee. It was like super curated. Not only was it super curated, it was at a relatively small venue, and they jammed like cars in, and so it was literally like you couldn't get out until like 3 cars in front of you had left.
It wasn't the one at Griffith with the tickets and the drama. Okay.
No, it was one at like a studio space downtown where this guy makes like custom like $8,000 dunks. Marco invited me. The people there couldn't have been nicer. Everybody I met was really nice. It was like cars and watches, but it really had this very curated vibe. Like everyone's got a Leica, the whole fucking thing. But because it was so densely packed, you couldn't leave. Wait, why did I start talking about this? Cars and Coffee Saturday. What were we just talking about?
Electric cars.
No. God damn it.
Invincible.
Oh, fuck.
Why did we go to that?
Oh shit. Oh, no, I remember why. Because I met a gentleman there who was very nice, and we were talking about watches and cars and whatever, and he daily drives a Taycan, and he said that there is a lease that Porsche does that's called like a one pay, and you don't pay every month. You just write one check, and it's the down payment, and it was a 12-month.
It's called buying a car.
No, it's a 12-month lease, one payment, right? You just write one check for 12 months,
and it's less than
and he told me the deal he had gotten on a Taycan, brand new, and I was genuinely shocked at how low it was. I was like, I'm sorry, what? It was a Taycan GTS Sport Turismo, which is a $180,000 car, and it boiled down to, with this one pay thing, $900 a month, no money down.
Whoa!
Which was like, I'm sorry, what? That's real fucking cheap for that car. Yeah. It's a lot of money. We're not talking about Priuses. We're talking about super electric GT cars.
But that's what 50% more than a Macan lease now, but the car is worth nearly 4 times
correct
a Macan's MSRP
and no money down.
Yeah.
So like it would be about $250 a month more than a Mach-E GT over the same period for a car that is almost 4 times as much.
Whoa.
Which was like, oh shit. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Get
that's
me
pretty
those
interesting.
deals. Yeah.
You could get that deal, I think. Because I think Porsche has a very smart financial arm. Like they'd rather have the lump sum and they'll make more money with that.
Here at West Side Collector Car Storage, I offer a discount if you prepay for a year. There is a discount there. For sure.
You throw it in Dogecoin, though.
I fucking straight Doge, dude. Only if Elon says buy. If Elon throws up the Doge, I'm fucking in, bro.
Yeah.
Pump, and then I fucking dump ski. That's what I do. You guys think I just talk shit about Elon while I'm over here 4D chessing my way to fucking Doge.
You are roaring kitty. Nobody knows it. That other guy's a fall guy.
You haven't seen my bandana and my wig?
Yeah.
That guy looks like Steve Perry, singer for Journey.
Okay.
With his hair.
I do not like Journey, so I wouldn't know who the singer is.
Well, now the singer, you know what happened. Steve Perry, the singer, left Journey. And then they continued, and they found a new singer. Who was from the cover band.
Yeah.
And he's like an Asian dude.
Yeah, and like way younger.
And his voice sounds exactly like Steve Perry, and you couldn't tell the fucking difference.
I love that story.
I do too.
I genuinely love that story for that person.
Yeah. It's that guy rules.
I just heard their music way too many times. It was forced upon me in college bars, and I'd never heard of them because I'm an alien, I guess. And I was like, "Who is this?" And people were like, "It's Journey." And I went, "Who's Journey?" And
are you saying that you never heard "Don't Stop Believing" until you were like in your 20s?
Yeah.
What?
Or it had never landed in my brain. Maybe I heard it on MTV when I was like
very
8,
weird.
And then I never heard it again.
Cruz truly is a black hole.
Oh, it's totally a bubble. It was a music bubble for sure. Absolutely, I admit that. Not like I'm so such a snob. It was like I was in this bubble, and then I popped out of it, and everyone's singing along in a bar, and I went, "What's this song everybody knows?"
Was it like only Sublime? Is that what Santa Cruz was? Exclusively
Sublime, small West Coast punk, and then underground hip hop, and that was like it.
Yeah, I can see how Journey might not penetrate that bubble.
yeah, it showed up on Highway 17, and they're like, "Nah, you can't come in."
Yeah. Speaking of which, should we open what just arrived? We
yeah,
started the podcast a few
Small Town Girl or whatever.
Dude. Mental note.
If you learn that fucking song,
learn, don't stop believing.
I own a drill.
Learn
young man.
Journey for Zach.
You're gonna play it at my wedding.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a speech and just be like, and just that sound of the plugging in of the guitar, the real awkward plugging in.
If you wrote a funny cover version of Journey and then played it, like that would be something. Right. If you just play the song.
No. Speaking of, it was a great moment I just saw on the internet this morning. It was a great moment, but also very awkward. Michael J. Fox joined Coldplay on stage at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Very sweet, but also like super awkward to have Michael J. Fox like in a wheelchair playing guitar. By all accounts, the guitar part of it, he actually nailed. I mean, I could see his fucking hands and he's programmed his brain. The Parkinson's has not stopped his hands from playing guitar. But it's a tough video to watch.
The hand's already moving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's permastrum. So we talked about this on the last cruise show. I'm trying to get off the internet a little more, and so I am getting back into playing guitar. This past weekend, I serviced both my acoustic guitars, restrung them, and I've learned 8 songs, 6 of which I used to know and 2 are new, and I feel fantastic about this.
That's rad. I am excited for you.
I'm spending probably 45 minutes a day playing guitar, and I feel fucking great. So I had talked about the only guitar I've ever owned of a lot of guitars that I regret selling, and a gentleman named Anthony Sloan at the Sloan School of Music, I believe in Maryland, is a listener of the show, found one and contacted me and sent me photos, and I bought it. And I haven't opened the box yet. It got here like 10 minutes ago. And so I'm going to see it for it right
If it's full of newspaper. Whoa, that's a good look. Well, it's red, so it's awesome.
It's red, yeah.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Ooh, buddy. Tear off the paper. Oh, look at you. Don't fall.
That is a rad looking guitar.
Look at that. Tell me that isn't fucking gorgeous, dude.
Yeah, no, that is.
So that is a Paul Reed Smith McCarty, and it's a McCarty P90, and the P90 are these types of soap bar looking pickups.
Yeah, white pickups, like kind of not ivory white, more like off eggshell.
This is actually a slightly nicer version than what I had. The one that I had half moon frets, and this one has the birds. The mother of pearl birds, and this one, the one I had what's called the straight cut back, which is just you see the grain of the wood like our table, and this one is sort of, they call it a 10 top. It says the number 10 up here.
Yeah,
that's their highest quality maple top, which is a flame cut, so it looks like that, but it's the same color, it's the same gold hardware, and it's. Other than being the flame top and having the birds, it is the same guitar.
It's a great color.
Oh, am I excited for this. I haven't got my amp yet.
I was going to ask.
I don't have the amp yet. But, God, man, am I stoked to have this thing back. That's so rad. This did not disappoint. So, Mr. Sloan out there in Maryland, shout out to finding this. This is a 20-year-old guitar. And it's mint.
It looks great.
Yeah, there's no, there's no nicks or real scratches on it. There's, very little hint that it was ever really played much. And his boys down there at the Sloan School of Music serviced it. So it's got brand new strings and totally ready to go.
It looks awesome.
I am very stoked to be playing this thing. How nice to have that back. And now I have to really... Oh, and they sent us some T-shirts and some swag. Have to really put you back. Fight the urge to now just buy a whole bunch of guitars. I'm not going to do that, but look at that. Oh, it's a Paul Reed Smith shirt.
Oh, cool.
That's very cool. Okay. Shout out to him. And some fun ass stickers, which I don't know.
Put them on the guitar.
I don't know what they mean. There's a blender on here, though. I like the blender sticker. Hannah will really like it.
Is that a lint roller?
I think it might be a lint roller. I don't really know what you do with the stickers, but if they're an official, they're a PRS dealer down at the Sloan School of Music. So if you are interested in buying a PRS or another guitar or taking some music lessons, definitely hit those folks up if you're in Maryland. They ship, obviously.
Yeah, that thing's gorgeous.
Fuck,
good color.
That's awesome. That's a beautiful guitar.
It's like flame Mazda red. A
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, it does
like
look
a touch
like a
of candy,
little-
but not too heavy.
It's like a little zoom zoom.
Yeah. It's a good color.
Yeah, that's fucking dope. Super stoked. So I have to learn some Journey now for Zach. Little Wheel in the Sky, maybe? Little Faithfully?
Just
little Don't Stop Believing?
I'm not going to start believing. I'm not. I will leave this city and go to a small town.
Let's see. Also, point of parliamentary procedure. For those fans of ammo products, you can now buy them in person at Westside Collector Car Storage. We're the only place in America that is an actual in-person ammo dealer. So both of our locations, Playa and South Bay, you can walk in, although the door will be locked, so you will have to ring the doorbell. Don't be alarmed. And you can buy we've got about 40 SKUs. Basically, almost everything they make of consequence. Like, we don't have the polishing machines, but like all the products, all the brushes, all that shit, you can come buy that from me here in LA.
Cool. That's awesome.
So that's nice. First bit there. We got 2 press cars this week. We have the new Miata, which has not arrived yet, which we're very excited about. Everyone says great things. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's going to be that poopy brown color that everyone's been driving.
Oh, I don't know. Oh.
I thought it was neat, actually. I enjoyed it.
The brown?
Yeah.
Or the car?
No, the color.
I haven't seen it yet.
Camisa drove the color that drove it to Ioniq 5N launch. He had it. If you probably have to go scroll back.
Go way back.
For a reasonable way, but he had it. Keep going. You know where to find it. It was about probably, I don't know. There it is. So that it's a funky color. It's not poopy brown. That's not right. Not, it's like a gray
brown. But it's got a lot of flake. You can see where it's got highlights on the arches.
It's actually kind of an interesting color. I didn't hate the color. I thought I sort of liked it even. So excited to have a go in that. Is this ND3 or ND 2.5?
I believe it's ND3.
Because there's a lot of changes,
verdict,
right?
ND3.
Yeah. So it's got a different steering rack. It's got a new diff. Bless you. It's got some rear suspension changes, and apparently there is some other good changes too. Haven't read much about it yet. I just knew I wanted to drive it.
Oh, definitely. Always worth driving a Miata, especially if they revise things. Because I didn't have big problems. I like the ND.
I like the ND2 a lot.
Club Sport. I like that one. That was my favorite of them.
Yeah.
I didn't like the normal one, so I'm curious how this feels.
Yeah, and I think the one they sent us is Grand Touring, not Club. Is there a Grand Touring and a Club Sport? Is that how it works?
Usually.
I do my research before we make the video. Right. Not usually before the car arrives. Sorry.
Trims and specs.
I don't know what it's a Grand Touring, which I don't know what that means.
There's a Sport, a Club, and a Grand Touring. Grand Touring is the most expensive one by $2,000.
Does that mean leather? Does that just mean Club plus leather? It's got to have. I don't know. They wouldn't send us one that didn't have all the performance shit on it, though, right?
You can get the Grand Touring with an automatic, which I assume ours won't have.
No, there's no way they would send us an automatic.
It comes with the Bose 9-speaker, but so does the Sport, CarPlay. It comes with a limited slip diff.
Okay.
Maybe it's interior stuff.
It's got to just be like leather.
Auto dimming rear view mirror.
Yeah, it's got to be little bullshit. It's got to be like xenons and leather or some shit.
I was curious if it came with like the good seats. Like the last one had optional Recaros, I believe.
The one Jason drove. Is there a photo of the interior? The one Jason drove had Recaros, and it was does he have a photo of the interior on his Instagram? Nice iPhone. Yeah, there he goes. He's got that one has the Recaros. That's probably what it is. The GT is probably Recaros and like a good stereo. Or something.
Wow. I mean, the Sport, it has a lot of similar equipment compared to the Club. Like the interior, it just has black door sill trim plates with stainless steel inserts.
Okay.
All
right.
Audio infotainment. Yeah, it's pretty similar. Mazda Nav comes with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll see. But then, so that's the fully loaded one. At the other end of the spectrum, I got the Land Cruiser 1958 today. So the Land Cruiser 1958 is really funny because it's like the South America spec Land Cruiser. Like it has all the off-road hardware on it, including like rock sliders, but like manual cloth seats, like minimal interior accoutrements, really small, crappy-looking wheels. It's got like no sunroof. It's pretty basic.
Oh yeah, it is the cheapest one.
It's the basic.
Wow. Okay.
And so, which is funny because I mean, on the one hand, the Land Cruiser and the GX are now pretty much the same, right? It's the same car.
Yeah.
It's just the GX sort of starts where the Land Cruiser stops, right? But the basic one, this is the 4-cylinder hybrid with like nothing, pretty much nothing. I mean, it has CarPlay. It has.
Does it have diffs or anything like that?
It has the off-roady shit.
Okay.
It's got all
that's what it's aimed at.
It's got all the basic off-roady shit and nothing else. But the one I have, I mean, it's $60,000.
Yeah, I mean, it starts at 55.
Yeah. And the only options in this one are off-road related, like the rock sliders.
Okay.
So it doesn't have the multi-terrain monitor, but it does have like locking diffs and different drive modes.
It definitely seems like the camper, like if you're going to modify one, because it comes with diffs, comes with heated seats, so if you're off-roading, it's cold, you're camping, and then a huge inverter.
Yes.
And then they go, okay, you're going to add on whatever you want anyway.
But it doesn't have the disconnectable sway bars, which the Lexus had,
and
which
the electronic ones.
The higher end Land Cruisers have. So I'm gonna take it off roading this weekend probably. I'm not gonna make a video because it would be a waste of time because those videos don't do shit. But we'll talk about it on the next show.
Cool.
And it's really interesting because I've never thought of if you got in it and someone didn't tell you it was a Land Cruiser, you'd go, this is a 4Runner. You know, it doesn't, without all the fanciness, with cloth seats and, you know, all the sort of real basics that this is, it doesn't give you Land Cruiser vibes, even though, yes, I understand it's like a Land Cruiser Prado. It's the different thing. And I haven't been in the new 4Runner, but it does feel pretty basic and rugged.
Is it body on frame or unibody?
It's body on frame.
Same as the Lexus.
Yeah.
Oh, right. You said the same as Lexus.
Yeah, same as the Lexus.
So we'll see how it rides.
Yeah. But no, I don't think it has it doesn't have like adaptive shocks like the Lexus has. It's pretty basic. But my guess is it will do pretty well off-road. Yeah, like those are the upgraded seats. It does not have those.
Got it.
It has like cloth.
Yeah, this is just the basic interior gallery.
I fucking opened the door and I was like, this is Sudamerica. This doesn't feel like the kind of Land Cruiser they would sell in America. It's like too base.
Wow. Well, it's kind of nice. I mean, we don't usually get to test the base of a car. They always say, here's the one with all the options plus a unicorn.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's kind of nice sometimes to test the base to see what more people will buy and then what you could do with it.
Yeah. Even though it's like 60,100 and there's like $3,000 or $4,000 in options on it, it's pretty shocking to see something this basic with this much hard plastic start with a 6. I realize you're paying for off-road hardware, which you don't feel or see or notice on the street. So it's about you're paying for that capability, not the luxuriousness. But it's like usually they go hand in hand.
True.
Very rare that you could, even if you're talking about Broncos, even if you're talking about Wranglers, like if you get the super off-roady one, it usually comes with like other upgraded stuff.
Like, let's see, the cheapest Bronco on their site starts at $40. That's the Big Bend model. The Bronco interior, even with leather and stuff, looks...
It's pretty sparse.
It's sparse. Yeah. It's very functional, we'll say.
But like cloth manual seats, no lumbar for $60,000 is pretty...
That's true.
That's pretty basic.
I like cloth seats in an off-road vehicle. I'm on board with completely.
I am too, but I need lumbar.
I agree.
Man.
Yeah.
Need the lumbar.
Yeah.
I wish more cars had cloth seats. I wish you could get cloth seats in a fucking 7 Series like you can in Europe. You know, like I wish you could
corduroy on that the Targa we drove.
Don't get me started on the corduroy. It's so fire.
So nice.
Did you see before I put it in the car my new
I heard
Blazer
you
from
saying
the Grotto?
It, but I have not.
My new
seen
Blazer
it.
from the Grotto is Porsche Houndstooth. It's awesome, dude. It's so Pebble Beach ready. Oh, I had a photo.
Here's the list of Bronco models.
So this would be price-wise somewhere between an Everglades and a Wild Track.
So basically, the third most expensive Bronco you can get is where
the Land Cruiser
starts.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Different markets.
There's so many.
There's a lot of overlap.
Broncos. Wow, I didn't realize it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 9 Broncos. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
That's a lot of Broncos.
Yeah. I've seen some Raptor Broncos on the street, and the fenders, they look like cartoonish big when we drove it, and they still look that way.
Yeah. I saw one that was all black and had the fenders painted black, and it looked a little more cohesive.
Yeah, true. When there's big contrast, they really, stand out, no pun intended.
Have you seen like a white one? A white one with the big fenders looks so silly. It's very, very weird.
Ready for Baja.
Yeah, right?
All right.
Let's see. By the time this goes up, the Z06 video will be up. It's been kind of a while since we drove it.
It has.
I'm sorry for the delay of game, but embargoes have done us in.
Yeah, true.
But shit. What is there to say about it? It's been. You drove it for the first time.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's real crazy.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It drives so damn well. It is definitely the best Corvette I've driven, and it just. Handling, agility. All the things we've experienced. I think we drove that white. Was that a Z51 package?
That was a Z51 convertible. And then you drove a Z51 coupe, but it was a used one.
That was a used one.
Video. Yeah.
It's just such an impressive car dynamically.
Yeah.
And now it sounds exactly like a Ferrari. No new statement there, but I was organizing the footage today, and the drive-bys, it goes by, and it's the same. It's the same sound. But the engine pull is so good.
It's such a great motor. Pull up Cars and Bids, because I saw one the other day because we were selling a couple of cars. Look at used. What are some results for C8 Corvette Z06? And So bid two. So right there, 20. This was 3 weeks ago. 2024 Z06 Coupe, 3LZ trim, 800 miles, sold for 130 grand. I mean, that's fantastic. There's a bunch of people reaching and not getting.
Yeah.
Got a lot of no sales. That's an anniversary, brand new, sold for 133. There's a white Z06 convertible, 500 miles. So that's too old. That's 23. Let's look. We got to keep it to 2024. But the recent ones, I mean, the one that was the other day, that black one, top left, only got to 125K. And that with 305. So these things are coming down quick in the used market.
What was the MSRP on these?
The one that we drove?
Yeah.
I want to say it was 140 something. So you're getting a car with, one tank of gas driven through it for under MSRP now.
That's wild.
So the flip game has ended on the Z06s, which is great. That's good for enthusiasts.
Absolutely.
I mean, it means that you could fucking probably get one pretty soon, and you should.
I mean, driving wise, this is so much more than $130,000 of car. Yeah. Good God, it is such an amazing performance car, and it's so fun. I had a great amount of fun driving it. I didn't feel like I was disconnected from it at all. I mean, the only thing I don't like about the car is how it looks. But as a usable thing and as a fun thing that sounds like a fucking race car, I mean, it sounds like an exotic race car.
Yeah.
I mean, as a sensory experience, it is incredible.
I think you can really change how it looks with the color. I mean, it looks massively different to me in white versus blue versus red versus black. Like, pull up the all black, top left. I'm not normally a blacked out fan, but I think all black does this car favors.
I agree with that. It hides some of the awkward proportion a little bit. Let me go back to this other one.
I mean, from a powertrain and a ride and handling, I think this one looks fantastic. Actually, is that matte black or is it just the way the light works?
Yeah, it's just the way the light.
I think these cars look really, really great, and I really enjoyed driving it. It's just a nice thing to use.
It is.
The trunk holds things. It's easy to take the top on and off. It's great cruising around town.
Yeah.
It's great at 5/10. It's great at 9/10. It's unbelievable once you start really pushing it on a racetrack, especially if you get that Z07 package, which ours didn't have.
Right. Ours was like the GT model.
Ours was the 3LZ, which is basically what this one we're showing is, which actually for I think most people, you should skip the Z07.
Totally.
Because you want the Pilot Sport 4S tires. You don't need these special, racing tires. That doesn't help. You don't need the carbon wheels. That's a lot of money. You don't need the big wing. Fucking blocks the view out of the back. Doesn't really make much difference. I liked our comfort spec touring 3LZ. That was nice.
I thought it was great. Ooh, this is you don't see much of this tan interior with white.
Tan on the Corvettes is not bad. One of the E-Rays I drove was that cactus color with the tan.
Oh, yeah.
That was okay.
This gives me LFA vibes.
Yeah.
Just because there was a lot of white LFAs.
Yeah.
With tan interior. Yeah.
I don't love the white on the Vets, but I would do this black with that tan.
Yeah, that would be
fire. Yeah. Yeah, the big wing doesn't really do it for me.
It is an amazing car. Like, well done, Chevy, for building that thing.
Yeah, we're like the last kids on the block to drive the fucking Z06 for a video. So I don't know how well the video will do, but it was great fun.
Yeah.
So go check that out. It's up on the channel, not if you're listening live, but if you're listening every other time. Speaking of live, let's go to the Patreon. If you want to get the show live, if you want to get the show, if not live, before everybody else, if you want a ad-free listening experience and exclusive access to early merch drops, patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast is where you do it. Let's see. Toblerone Malone, I do not have an answer to your question. Have you?
I don't think so.
Wants to know about CAE shifters. Have we ever used one? It does not.
I've driven cars that have similar looking shifters, but I don't know if they're from this exact company. It just looks like a racing shifter where there's like big linkage. The whole thing's lifted up. The long, like when we drove that Spec E46.
Right.
Stuff like that. Like that's what I'm thinking of, and
If he's talking about a specific brand, which this is, I've never driven one, so I can't help you there. Sorry, I hate to start off with the answer being no. But Chappie says, favorite looking current Le Mans hypercar. I couldn't tell you the difference between any of them. I guess the Valkyrie, right? Isn't that a current? Aren't they going to Le Mans? Or it's got to be this year, right? Is the Ferrari a hypercar, or is that a...
The Ferrari is.
That one looks pretty good.
And they won this year?
Yeah,
I think.
They did. I just didn't know if it was a hypercar. I don't pay attention to this shit. I don't really
I didn't watch them all. And some of them look too much like spaceships, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I care much less about the prototypes than I do about the GT cars. I need to see my road cars racing. I don't give a fuck about if you win in a prototype and your street car, like your GT car, is not winning, then I don't care about you.
Yeah.
That's just, I don't know. I need to sell on Monday, win on Sunday.
It's the whole thing of like with AI, if it doesn't look like a human, we don't connect to it as much. We want to see an actual human, something that we are more familiar with. And so the spaceship cars are cool and impressive, but I pay more attention to the GT stuff because it looks like something I might drive or see.
Right. Yeah, I need to be able to see that line to my street cars. And I'm not talking about the Valkyrie street car versus the Valkyrie race car either. Flannel Bob with a good suggestion for another show. Check out the grid from IMSA GTO and list our favorite cars from that era. We could do that.
Yeah, because I got to be around that Audi from 1989.
Oh, you didn't
IMSA
drive
racing.
that, did you?
No.
Is there an embargo on that?
Yeah.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
When is it?
July 7, I think. I put it in the calendar.
Oh, are you going to fucking edit that video for then, too?
We'll look at the calendar and see, because there'll be a lot of things.
You got a lot going on.
But I mean, I didn't get to drive the race car.
I know.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ken got to have a go in that car, didn't he? I think he did.
Ken who?
Block. When he went to Audi.
He probably did.
Yeah, they let him drive that.
That makes sense.
Dave Cucci says, what is the distinction on classic vehicle versus old vehicle? I have an early 90s truck, and my friends have truck from the 70s and 80s. They insist theirs are classics, and mine is just old. Where do you draw the line?
I think it's just time. I think it's totally subjective.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know how old Dave is, but like a 70s truck when we were kids was probably a classic-ish because it was close to the 60s, which is kind of what we call a classic. I think they're just grabbing to that. And I think in 20 years, a 90s truck will be a classic.
I want to say 30 years. Is where I probably would draw the line. 30 years would be pre-94. Like if you showed up in like a 92 454 SS Chevy, that's a classic truck.
I think the term is broad and totally subjective. And I also think it attaches to like if we like the thing or not. If like the SS we think is cool, we go, oh, that is a classic because it was cool when it was new.
So maybe
that's the thing.
Maybe it's like age plus being enthusiast focused also. Like I would say like a C10 stepside is a classic truck, whereas just like some old ass beater farm truck that happens to be a 1976 Chevy is not necessarily classic, right? That's where you have to where you can introduce subjectivity into it.
Right. So Merriam-Webster, I looked it up. Like third definition is historically memorable.
Right.
And I think that fits more. Like, do we remember this car fondly in some way, or is it just something people drove to work?
Right. But I do think there needs to be some age distinction.
I agree with that. Yeah. Sorry, I think it's a combination of the two, like you said.
Yeah. Like so, like Dave, if your friends have like trucks from the 70s and 80s that are like pieces of shit, and your early 90s truck is a Ford Lightning or a Cyclone, then you have a classic truck and they don't. Mm-hmm. You know, I would say 30 years plus being cool.
Yeah.
That's probably where
I agree.
It's at. It doesn't need to be mint condition.
No.
But it does need to be an enthusiast appreciated vehicle. Right. Scott in Ohio, would you rather a 2017 and 19 Acura NSX or a 2017 and 19 McLaren 570S? Pretty even on paper. Which would you choose? Sold my GT4 and need a spicier replacement. Pleasure use only.
I go McLaren. For steering feel, simplicity, let's call it. It's not as complicated. And strangely, a more roomy feeling interior.
Yeah, the Acura is cramped.
It's real cramped.
Acura is cramped. I would also go with the McLaren. Yeah, I probably would. And
the sound.
But question for, let's call that 140 grand.
Okay.
Is about what that is. Wild card, personal choice. I would rather have a very well kept Audi R8 V10 with a stick.
Ooh.
I love McLarens, but the 570's not my favorite.
True.
The NSX doesn't really do anything for me. I certainly wouldn't call an NSX spicier than a GT4 in most ways. So McLaren 2018, 125 to 104. Oh, bid two. 2017 570S. That's from 2021? Get out of here.
That's all the results they have.
Holy shit, they have so few McLarens sold on Cars and Bids, 570s anyway. 2021 is not a market indicator. So high bid February this year is a 570S Spider, bid to 123. We sold one on Bring a Trailer and it got 140, a coupe, last year. So I think 130 to 140 is where a great 570 is right now.
I think R8. I think you make a great point though, because you get Lamborghini sound, but it's a very reliable engine.
It's a super durable.
It's really
car.
durable. You can put the supercharger on it.
Yeah.
You'll make more power than the McLaren. Service history is probably
Manual.
better than McLaren. Manual looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like you get all the things. Yeah,
I would rather have I'd rather have that. But yeah, McLaren 570s are okay, but they're fast, but they just don't really do it for me personally. And maybe that's because I've driven all the other ones. But tab, please.
Oh.
Yep. Here for Matt's Cats. I appreciate that username. I have a 2019 G70 manual. I assume that means a Genesis G70. Staggered from the factory with bigger rear tires. Other than being able to rotate tires and extend their life, is there a benefit to squaring the setup? If so, should I make the rear smaller or the front larger? I don't track it currently, but I'd like to do some formal driver training with it soon. It's the 2-point slow, if that matters. Well, okay. Question number one, is there a benefit to squaring the setup? Potentially, it could improve your turn-in.
Yeah.
That's what it does on Mustangs and Camaros.
Yeah.
Almost all American muscle cars come with a staggered setup that make it better, more relaxing on the highway.
Right.
The downside is it could potentially make it more darty in ways you don't like.
It will also usually increase steering weight, which can feel good. I mean, in my car, I like that because it made me feel like I had better steering feel, but it will increase the steering weight.
Yeah. Should you make the rear smaller or the front larger? You should make the front larger.
Yeah, don't shrink the rear from what the factory says.
Right. The potential downsides, you might get rub. It's possible you could get rub either when you bottom out or when you're at full lock. It could potentially affect the amount that you can turn lock to lock, your turning radius.
And that if your wheels are too wide or if the tire you get, I mean, even if tires have equal width, sometimes they have differently shaped sidewall.
Right.
So one tire might rub, but another manufacturer of the same size won't.
Right.
So that's when it would be good to refer to the forums about like what fits your car really well.
Right. And the other potential hiccup is that your front and rear wheels might run different offsets. So it might be, it's not like you may run into trouble just getting 2 extra rear wheels and putting them on the front. May.
You might, yeah. It worked for my car, but not all cars are the same.
Right.
Like it could definitely mess with things.
Yeah. So those are things to look at. But if you want to go square, I would go double up your rears to the front and not the other way around.
I would say it's not required for formal driver training because, I mean, if you're doing instruction, you'll learn to work with whatever you are driving. And there's so many other techniques that will come into play before they're going, you need to max out your front grip. Like that's actually not a technique that you will learn in the school.
Yeah. Dr. Sourbones, thoughts on red or bright colored interiors?
All for 'em.
I'm pro.
All for 'em.
Extremely pro.
Red, I'd put red in so many cars if I could.
I did put red. My Porsche has a red interior.
And like they mentioned the Type R, I think the Type R seats look sick. Looks great.
Yeah. The only place, and we talked about it in the Z06 video, I fucking hate C8 Corvettes that have white on the dash.
Yes.
It reflects in the windshield all the time, and it stinks.
I don't like white interiors on almost anything. Like, it looks cool in a Rolls Royce. It looks inviting and like literally rich because it's like, ooh, white, marble, blah, blah, blah. But it stains very quickly.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
even the AMG GT, which video coming out soon, the car had 2,500 miles on it, and the white was stained. Although it was super hot the week that we had it, and I kind of appreciated it being white.
Yeah.
When it was that hot, but I still wouldn't buy that. I'd buy tan.
Yeah, tan, red.
No, but like when I see, I like a splash of yellow. I like when it's a black with a little splash of yellow, or even the fucking Vets that I drove, the E-Rays. I drove one that was black with a splash of blue. I thought was kind of fun. Black and red really works.
Mm-hmm. Silver and red.
The Sport Classic with the tan and the houndstooth, that's great. Yeah, pro colorful interiors. Let's see. Scott says, if I was going to buy another R129 SL500, would I go for a later model or would I go for the early one with so the big difference is, that was my foot. Big difference is, I think, pre-97. I forget the exact year where they cut it off, but the earlier cars had a dual overhead cam engine. The later cars had a single overhead cam engine. Earlier cars had a higher power band. Later cars had a lower power band, and they changed the styling. I had a 2001. I like that one better. I don't think with a slush box equipped SL, what do we need power up top for? Yeah. I had that car for 2 years. I think I went over 3,000 RPM twice. Doesn't fucking do. There's like, what do I need that for? You know? Yeah, high revving dual overhead cams with slush box automatics stink. Give me torque. Yeah, I would go with a 2000 to 2002 model. Bad Gardener says, everybody knows about cheap cars with absurd maintenance, but what are the most expensive cars with most reasonable maintenance? I mean, Land Cruisers and Lexuses. Yeah. For sure. Huracans. Huracans are very cheap to run. Yeah, they are. If you buy one new and take basic care of it, Huracans are really cheap to run. A new Ferrari with a 7-year included maintenance program.
That's true. Once it's out of warranty, different, but yeah.
Yeah, but you spend $500,000 on a new car, fucking call their bluff.
Yeah.
7-year unlimited mile maintenance and warranty. Put fucking 300,000 miles in that thing. Let's go.
I wonder how the new NSXs have been reliability-wise, because that's a pretty expensive car from a company known for reliability. Yeah. That would be a good question.
I mean, late NSXs like mine. My car was almost $100,000 when it was new, and those have a reputation for durability.
True, but if you need interior parts and shit, they're expensive.
Oh yeah,
that's actually that's not a reliability maintenance thing.
Lexus LFAs,
right?
As far as I know.
4GT. No, they're
mechanically very stout, but weird little bullshit.
And now I've heard that the dealerships don't want to service those.
Yeah, you got to get
the team,
get the guys,
the team
the
that tours,
GT guys or whatever they're called.
GT Circus.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, things that are electric.
Mm-hmm.
If you bought a Tesla Plaid, and nothing broke, no suspension components fell off of it.
Yeah,
it's probably pretty reliable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Aiden says, what are the biggest examples of automakers blowing the lead on a car or feature that became normal years later and the company had to catch up again? Example, GM EV1. I mean, that's the best one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a bigger wasted opportunity than that. But GM's culture, like, forget the fact that fucking Elon Musk is a psycho fucking fascist. Besides that, early Tesla's culture allowed them to make the electric car cool in a way that GM is absolutely incapable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Was, and probably will always be. Their Detroit culture cannot produce future cool. They just can't.
I think it's also such a big ship to change, to steer with so many built-in. Like, can we build it on the existing factory? We don't know. But if you have a startup, that they know they have to build an assembly line anyway. I mean, I know they bought a factory, but like they know they have to create the production line. So they go, well, what do we want to create with this production line?
Yeah,
and you can just paint.
I think Detroit is incapable of starting from scratch. Truly starting from scratch. And so that's why they couldn't have done that.
Yeah, because they have processes already in place that they have to use.
I would say...
that they'd like to use, otherwise they go into big debt.
Another example of someone who blew the lead on a car or feature. I mean...
Who had electric power steering first?
Oh,
who's the first car?
I don't know. Huh. Blowing the lead on a car or feature.
I know Volkswagen had it a long time ago. Oh, well, 1951. Okay, after that.
Baker with their electric car?
Probably.
Stanley Steamer? They could have done it. Man, that's a tough one because what car had a feature that was just like Porsche Sportomatic? I mean, I don't want to say they blew the lead because their PDK gearbox is the best automatic gearbox on the market. But, you know, Porsche had a clutchless manual transmission in the 60s, and they stopped making it. Imagine they had evolved that from that point. We could have had dual clutch gearboxes much earlier.
Turbocharging. I don't know who had it, but a lot of companies had it, moved away from it.
Yeah.
And now it is in everything. I mean,
right.
like Volkswagen stuck with it all the way through they had the 1.8, and then they had the 2-liter. I mean
GM
really kept it going.
had it. GM had it in the 70s. The Turbo Trans Am. Fuck, they had it a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably a good.
That's hard. There's no bigger than GM.
One. I'm sure there's other ones, but I don't know of a lot of features where they had it and then they bailed on it entirely only for someone else to do it better. Later.
Especially at that size. It was like, here's a new type of car.
Yeah.
Because all the things we're talking about, automatic transmissions have existed for a long time. Assisted steering has existed for a long time. It's just like a different iteration of it. But this was, you know, like, let's make this amazing electric car and then throw it away.
Yeah.
And then Toyota goes, we'll take that.
Michael Cosgrove has a new Boxster GTS 4.0 on order with a manual. Very nice. But have already entered the PCA spring raffle for a Boxster or Cayman GTS 4.0. Which flavor would you choose in this case? Wait. Oh, you mean if you get a second one?
That's the Dan McInnes move where you have a Spider and then you win a free car.
Yeah, he got another Cayman GT4. I'd have a Cayman with a PDK.
Yeah.
And then a Boxster with a manual for sunny days. Yeah, Cayman PDK for dailying and maybe some track work, and then Boxster for the good times. And I'd send one of them to Ricky D. I'd send the Boxster GTS with the stick to Rick DeMann and do the engine, because you got a free fucking car, man. Let's blow 50 on this other one. You know what I mean?
I would definitely get the gears for sure.
You definitely get the gears. Yeah, you should get the gears either way. Killing Time says, I have no access to a track looking for street-level fun. Comparing the M2 CS to a Cayman GT4, how do they compare in your eyes and on my, I don't know what SSC mods is, but I assume you mean, strawberry shortcake. If you can only do, okay. I would rather have a Cayman GT4 than an M2 CS. The M2 CS is a very nice car, and it's very pretty, but I think the Cayman GT4 is still better. For fun, just for pure fun.
For pure fun. Over the long term, yeah, probably.
Yeah. And if I could only do engine or gears, I would do gears. I would do gears, period.
Yeah.
If I owned a Spider or a Cayman GT4 or a Boxster GTS, I would do the gears.
Because if you do the engine, now you're just going even faster and your gears are too tall.
Yeah.
And you're getting into illegal speeds a little bit more quickly, but a little bit higher up there.
The gears will improve your performance, but also improve your fun, and will also reduce strain on the engine. It gives you a gearing advantage versus stock. And you could get away, no fucking dealer would ever know. Like warranty issues, all that kind of stuff.
Re-geared it?
Nobody, because in first gear, moving the thing around the dealer lot, nobody would ever know. Like you could have that car serviced at a dealer for the rest of its life, and they'd never know you changed that if you didn't tell anybody.
And it's way more fun to shift that. That's why you bought it, to shift it.
Yeah. Did I tell you that I filed the first warranty claim on the Spider?
No.
I didn't?
What broke?
Dash clock.
Oh, right. It was foggy?
My dash clock fogged up.
Yeah.
And so they ordered me a new one. And shout out to the kind folks at Porsche of South Bay. Got me in and changed it out while I went to lunch. 1 hour, in and out, donezo.
Nice.
No problem. They wouldn't let me keep the other one, though.
Oh.
They send it back to Porsche.
I don't know. Research.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And they wanted photos of it fogged up, as if I would just, like, make them change out the clock, a perfectly working clock. But, like, I did have photos of it fogged up. So yeah, I don't know why it got fogged. That's a weird one, but.
It's a bad seal.
Warranty claim, in and out, no problem. Big fans of the Porsche at South Bay. Nice folks down there. Okay, Jared bought a new GR86 with the performance exhaust. 2 questions. The performance exhaust system seems pretty loud. Have you driven it, and do you feel the same way? Is the GR86 performance, does the BRZ TS have that?
Ooh, good question.
I don't know. It didn't seem that, I don't know what that exhaust sounds like unless it comes on the BRZ TS also, and then maybe.
Well, whether the TS came with it or not, I know that the TS was loud on the highway between wind noise and motor noise. So yeah, I think it's just a loud car. There's not a lot of sound deadening, and there's a lot of road noise.
And then he says, I can drive stick, but I notice the shifts are too jerky sometimes, especially in the lower gears. How would you recommend learning better patterns or technique to smooth out the experience? You should watch my How to Drive Stick video. I mean, if the shifts are jerky, you're either not matching revs or you're coming off the clutch too quickly. That's what would make it jerky, hard engagement. So you need to come off the clutch slower, ride the clutch just a little bit more, 10% more, match your revs better. I mean, if you're downshifting without matching revs, that's going to be jerky as shit. So start with watching my How to Drive Manual Transmission series on the YouTubes. Anything there, Zach?
It seems like they don't offer. So I went to accessories after building and buying a TS online, and there's no offer for an exhaust system. So I don't know if that means it comes with it because I can't find that, or if it's not offered on BRZ but it's offered on GR86. I don't know. I'd have to dig deeper.
I don't know if I've heard it. It didn't seem super loud outside the car, but that car was on the louder side inside. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm guessing it's not. If you got a performance exhaust from the factory, it can't be that loud. How loud could it be?
I don't know. They surely have to make sure it's below regulations for maximum volume and all that stuff.
It couldn't possibly be that loud. I don't know.
Exhaust camshafts. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Scroll down on this one, Zach, for Jake White's question while you are looking. Okay, ideal canyon car for first timer, something light, less powerful. Wait. Do you want something light and less powerful, or do you want something faster but with good brakes? I mean, slow. You want slow, because you don't need to die. B, light is always a good place to start. Right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely slow.
First timer, and then if don't get a Corvette.
Yeah, and then if you have a crash, it will probably happen at a slower speed.
Yeah, and it will like go earlier and slower and all that stuff.
Plus consumables.
Cheaper tires, cheaper brakes, everything. Miata, or sure, Elise, which is still going to be pretty quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, do not go gung ho if you are brand new to canyon driving. That is the wrong attitude.
Yeah. Domhnall, we will address your question about hybridization when we get to the 911 conversation next episode. Timbo, is the Cayman Boxster ICE model going to continue past 2026? Not unless it's a GT4. The standard one will not. Let's see. Philip says, would losing 200 pounds out of a V8 R8 be worth the expense, 10 to 15,000, for the improvement in driving experience it could bring? I appreciate it'll hurt its resale value. So here's the question: 10 to 15K to take 200 pounds out of that car. What do you think he's talking about? Carbon body?
I don't know, but I mean, I drove that guy's manual swapped Type 42. It's the first generation of R8. The steering was the biggest letdown. It was pretty numb, too slow, and I don't think taking weight out of the car would fix that. So for me, it's not going to be the best driver's car, even if it's lighter. It might be a little bit quicker, but I think you could get that acceleration. I'd rather get a supercharger.
Yeah.
And then it's going to feel as fast as if I took 200 pounds out of it, and it'll be a little bit more exciting. That's what I would do.
I'd be very interested to see exactly what it is that he's taking out to remove 200 pounds. Is that your real options here are carbon body panels,
seats. You can get rid of the heavy electric seats.
Yeah. Light wheels. But light wheels would be 10 to 15K by themselves, and that's not going to do 200 pounds. And the downsides that's a pretty refined car.
Yeah.
And you could really fuck that up.
Yeah.
You could make that thing buzzy and rattly and not feel like a luxury car, which it is.
I think it would be an error to try to turn it into an R8 GT, like RS, when some of the other performance and, like I said, the steering feel isn't there. Like, what's so great about cars like that we love that are super lightweight performance models is the companies have tried to address the sensations from all of the systems.
Right.
It's not just because it's light. Like the Elise, the previous person asked about, that has great steering and great shifting, and it's not just because it's light.
Yeah, like if you took a 911 Carrera and took out the power seats and took out the carpets, like, it won't drive like an ST. Even if you got it to the same weight, it just because they're taking out weight from places that you as a consumer can't get to. And there's other fine tuning that goes with it.
Yeah.
They change the spring rates, they change the this, they change stuff to then optimize for that weight being taken out.
I think the foundation of that 911, especially newer ones, like you get the 911T, because the foundation is so good, and I'm really just focusing on the steering, you can fuck with it more, and you're not. The character of the car is so good that you can play with that. Whereas I think the character of the R8, it's pretty and it sounds good, but from a driving perspective, it is lacking until the later ones, and so you're not actually going to benefit from those changes.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see.
Basically.
Jack W., do you tint all your vehicles, and would you consider tinting your whole windshield? Never, ever, ever tint your fucking windshield.
I see a lot of it around
here. There's a ton of it.
It's weird.
Dude, it's crazy. You can't see shit at night.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, he talks about he left his 70% tinted, so it's like barely darker. But we've seen cars where like it still makes the world a little.
It makes it a little wavy.
It
makes it wavy at night. It's not, and even if it doesn't do it the first day, after a year, it might. You don't want to fuck with that window.
Yeah.
I would say absolutely not.
What I will say is I drove my car to Willow Springs last week for the Audi thing, for the RS6 GT, and it was 105 degrees when I left, because of course it was. Tint on my car from, what's the company, the STM, your guy?
Yeah.
Han?
Yeah.
Holy shit, does it change that whole experience.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much cooler in the car. There's so much like less UV coming through. I mean, I know there is because of the science on it, but it is absolutely tangible. So I would highly recommend tinting your car.
But just not on your windshield.
I wouldn't tint the windshield. If I'm facing the sun, it is what it is. But the rest of your car, even if you leave it 70%, it blocks so much UV, which affects so many different things. It's so great.
Okay.
You want to speed run these?
Sure.
There's like 4 left.
Okay. All-wheel drive bias says, I think the Miata should have been paired with a naturally aspirated rotary engine like the RS8. Nope.
Terrible engine.
It's a garbage fucking engine. It was inefficient and not powerful. Fucking rotaries are not that great. Get over it. Richard says, I hope you buy a used Taycan Cross Turismo. As I want to do the same thing. Sounds like the numbers don't pencil out. Yeah, maybe not. How do other YouTube folks manage to justify buying and running used cars for their channel like Hoovy? I mean, they have different business models. I mean, if they're getting more views or they're making more content about. I mean, Hoovy bought a Cybertruck and then made like 12 videos about it. Like,
wow.
I don't know how many it was, but it's a bunch. So like that's his whole thing. Hoovy's not getting press cars. Like there's people whose entire content is buying used cars that are various levels of shitty, and that's cool. Like, I'm not against any of that stuff. That's what you want to do, but like, that's not our thing. Our thing is like driving press cars and stuff.
Right.
And so, like, if that's it's more worthwhile to do that if that's the thing you do, right? Like, how many videos could I make about a Cross Turismo? Like, not, and they're also specifically buying shitty ones. Like, I bought the cheapest this, I bought the worst this. And if you listen to a show we did from last week, I did fucking 20 minutes on why I don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah, it's a different business.
I have to live with this car every day. I don't want the fucking shittiest version of this. I bought the nicest version of a Bentley Turbo R, and it's only kind of working. It's still frustrating.
Yeah.
Even though it hasn't like left me stranded.
And we didn't want to make a video on like, you won't believe what broke on my Bentley, and it was the window regulator. And that's one video. Like, it's just not what our audience likes, and it's not what we like. You know? No offense to anybody, that's their content.
It's fine. Do that. But like, that's not what we want to do. Great. Thank you for joining us on this adventure today. Shout out to Sloan School of Music again. They put a card in here. I didn't open it. I wonder if this is a warranty. Probably not. 20-year-old guitar.
But it's a nice letter.
Oh, it's a nice little thank you note on stationery.
Wow.
We'll read that when I get home. Yeah, thanks to our patrons for asking such good questions today. Really appreciate y'all. We'll be back for the live ones sometime before the end of this week, maybe Thursday. And everyone else, I hope you had a good 4th of July, and we'll see you soon. Bye.